Let's talk about perfidia. Perfidia.
Perfidia.
Perfidia. The betrayer.
Did you feel bad when you was beating him?
No.
Oh my God!
I wasn't supposed to feel bad.
Victor!
I was supposed to feel
Victor!
I think you're the coolest person I've ever met in my life. You are so astounding. Welcome to my living room, Teyana.
Thank you. It's so nice. Very
Thanks.
spacious.
Yeah, you know, I like that kind
I
of.
love it.
Yeah, very
I
minimalist.
thought like by coming here, I would probably see like bodies everywhere.
yeah.
And notebooks.
Yeah, like I took it home with me.
Right.
I'm so excited to meet you.
Like what?
I mean, I remember when I first saw 1001, I just was so blown away. I was like, who is this person? Where did this person come from? It was such like a well of emotion. I was totally riveted by what you did, and it felt like, I'm like, I don't even think she knows there's cameras on her. You know, it was that kind of like thing you just can't look away from, and it just felt like it was just coming from such a place of truth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that was for you also like a pretty big breakthrough, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that was like my first real breakthrough. Like
Yeah.
I had just retired music, and I was like, I want to pour into everything else that I love. I don't want to be stuck in one box. I want to boom, boom, boom. And I remember like everybody like, we don't think that's smart. You shouldn't retire. Music, boom, boom, boom. And I remember just like when I took that leap of faith, I was like, okay, so what now? I was so scared, but I knew I had to walk on this faith journey. You know, I knew it was a faith walk for me. So maybe not even a month after I retired from music, this role comes across my desk. And I was just like, that's nothing but God. I'm like, I knew I had a point to prove, I had work to do. And, you know, at that point, the role was mine to lose or mine to keep, you know, and I went in. So it's like filming that, I knew that I had to really get in a certain bag.
So you had closed the door to a certain extent on music.
Yeah, I did. And I thought I was closing the door like for good. And I was okay with that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I wasn't gonna allow people to like back me into a corner, because I usually let people do that. It's like it'll be me against the whole room. I'm like, okay, well maybe since it's me against the whole room, maybe I'm bugging. You know, maybe I'm tripping. I can take the accountability. You
It
know?
felt like you brought that into it though, in that part.
did.
You know, it's like somebody against the world.
Yeah,
You know? So it was in a way,
exactly.
it was like a molting of that
Exactly.
thing that you had to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely. It made it easier to find her layers and color coordinate her layers and knowing when to, you know, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I loved
But it feels like it's interesting because I've been thinking a lot about that word vocation, you know, like what's our
Yeah.
calling, you know. Acting is an element of that. Music, you know, for you, it's an element of that. But like the source of it is something deeper.
Right.
It feels like you access that source beautifully. You know that it's coming out in that moment through the acting, but it feels like it comes from some, I don't know, some like real fiery furnace. That's amazing. Like, how did you train in acting? How did you make that transition? I mean, I know you had done Stomp the Yard, right?
Right.
Which you were
Well, you taking it back. You taking it back.
But like, how did that
I
play
mean,
out for you?
honestly, since a kid, I've just always been a character, you know. And as I gotten older, like kids would play, and I would watch movies. And some movies was probably some movies I should not have been watching. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like I've always been into just how an actor can emote in just the different emotions. And I think it's really crazy because growing up like that at a young age has made me extremely like emotionally mature. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it made me empathetic. It made me an empath. It's just like, because I always wanted to be Julia Roberts, or, you know, like it was just Kate Winslet. It was just, I would feel it in ways that's like, girl, you 8 years old. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why are you singing Titanic while all the kids is playing? You know what I'm saying? Like, but that was me. So as I got older and I got into music, it's kind of like music just kind of like bullied everything. It was my first love, of course, but being signed to a label is kind of like, that was first. So everything else was kind of put to a back burner. I didn't get the opportunity to go to classes and, you know, study it the way I would have liked to, you know? So it was kind of like, just everything being put into one box, and that's just not what I wanted. So then I started directing, and I realized that I wanted more. I'm like, okay, music videos is fine, because at this point I was directing for everybody in the music industry. But all my stuff was always like narrative. So I was just like, Yeah, I want to do television and film in regards to like the directing space, you know. So once I started to feel like claustrophobic in the music space, on top of the fact that I felt like my art wasn't really being appreciated, I was like, I need to pour into other things that I love and stop putting it on the back burner for what this person may feel like I need to do or that person may feel like I need to do.
And
You know?
particularly like storytelling, like that was such a
Exactly,
passion.
yes, it was such a passion, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like coming into acting and coming in straight into 1001, I had to train myself and I had to use my life and my experiences, you know. And it's crazy because it always make me think like timing is everything, you know. And I always say the wait is not punishment, it's preparation for what's already written for you. So I feel like had everything went my way and I wasn't claustrophobic, yeah, if everything went my way when I wanted it to go my way, I don't think I would have been the same Inez in 1001. I wouldn't have been the same Perfidia in one battle after another. I think I had to like go through some real shit. I had to feel some shit to know how to channel these emotions, you know. At one point, my mom worked in the foster care system. So to hear the stories and to understand what mothers was going through and kids in foster care, it was just like, it's just, all of it was like preparation.
Ugh, it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, and that was like the last thing she was doing right before I got signed, right before she became my manager. So it was like very.
So you get to tell her story in a way too.
Exactly,
right?
you know, to also be a mom, you know, and experience what it feel like to feel like it's me against the world and, you know, navigating, you know, wicked industry and navigating life and navigating motherhood.
But it's funny that thing because we feel like, you know, you can get so resentful, like, man, like, why didn't I had that chance and it didn't and I wanted that thing to happen. And this idea of like loving your fate because it's like, it's exactly where you need to be. It's not like, why did this happen to me? It's why am I happening to this?
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Right now.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't think that anything will fall into line. I think, and that's why I feel like I thrive in roles like that, like complex roles, because it's just so much built up in me that I'm able to kind of like color coordinate every single layer of mine and apply a layer to this character. Okay, so I do have a few layers for Perfidia.
Well, let's talk about perfidia. 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 Faithlessness, you know, the betrayer. That word, but it's like a
It's such a
Shakespearean
good name. I really wish that it didn't mean what it meant.
Well, it's great that it means
much
what
of a
it means
good
because
name.
it's in a way it's beautiful because it's it reminds me of like Shakespeare. You know, he
Yeah.
has names like this where they have such, you know, you can judge it by that. It seems to be faithlessness, right? But in some way, she's the character that everything is in relation to as the movie plays out.
Right.
And that's a lot of responsibility.
I mean,
but
a
the
lot.
second that opening shot, like you're walking with such command.
Declare war, motherfucker.
And immediately there's just gravity right there with the way that you're walking down that road, scoping out that detention center, you know? And it reminds me of like you as a dancer, like how you can see that the way that you command with your body, with the way you move up and down, there's a full awareness of what your body's doing and what it's communicating for the story.
Yeah.
Is it something that you're conscious of, or is it just like, it just happens instinctually?
I think it just happens. For me, conversation is very important. I'm an over communicator. So if we have a conversation, like, and we're talking about what this scene feel like as if we're in the scene, it's kind of like I just do it. And maybe it's like the choreographer in me. It's like everything is just like, it's just a flow, you know? And like I said, most importantly, really understanding who the character is. And for me, what makes it easy for me is definitely the color coordination of layers. I have to, because I'm like a visual person.
We talk about that. You said it twice, color coordination. Like, what do you mean?
So like when I say color coordinate layers, you have moments where like, okay, the scene with Perfidia and she's walking out from the baby and Bob, she don't cry, but you see this face that she make at the baby. And then you see the face she make when she look at Bob. And all that happened in the less than 5 seconds. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, okay, when I'm looking at baby Willa, like this is the color of like, she is my soft space, you know, so I'm pink. But then when I roll my eyes up, I'm instantly red, you know, and it's just like, she's selfish and so I'm like literally like color coordinated. When I walk out, and this is the new consciousness, I'm blue. So I'm able to, you know, so it's like those little tiny
And when do those
things.
colors come in? Beforehand? Or while you're doing it and in retrospect? Or what? You know?
Yeah, while I'm doing it. I think, of course, reading the line, I understand. It's like I find it in real, I work good under pressure, so I find it in real time of like, okay, cool. Like, yes, Perfidia is all of these things, but I don't think that she could just look at her baby and just be
You can see she's so heartbroken by this thing, but at the same time pulled by a real a commitment to this ideal of what the revolution means and what it means to live a revolutionary life.
On top of that, she's dealing with postpartum depression.
Yeah.
So what that feel like, and finding those layers of, yeah, I'm all about, this, but at the same time, I'm dealing with this, and this is a reflection of no one showing up for her, and I'm all I got. You know what I'm saying? And I need to be free, and you want me to sit at home and be, and play house, and that's never been the video. On top of the fact that who really, what is this a product of? Of Bob, who I love, but also of Lockjaw, who I resent.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just so many different things, and she's so complex because it's so many different colors in Perfidia.
Right, but just needs to breathe. She just needs to be free, which is the whole part of the revolutionary spirit for her, right?
Exactly. So, for my sisters in need, we will strike. Sincerely yours, Perfidia Beverly Hills, motherfucker.
It does feel like you bring so much of your own personality into these things, I think about that scene, I think about the scene when you guys are by the campfire, and you're just going wild, you're wild, and it's... Yeah. Was there a lot of improvisation? Was that,
It was, and with PTA, we always joke about the chaos to be determined, so it's a chaos TBD. And that's what it says on the script. Yeah. So it's kind of like when we get there, he say, go.
It's like an invitation.
Yeah, he's like, my Perfidia, do you. It's like when you have something on a leash, and when you release and you say that one word, it's just go. It's just, that's what it is.
And how do you prepare for that? Do you have I have some ideas about what I want to talk about?
For me, I feel like at the end of the day, this is still somebody else's vision, right? So you want to make sure you respect the vision. I think as long as I'm hitting on what that vision is, I kind of stay within the vision lane, but then just do my own thing. How would I get there? Like, who is she? She's this, she's reckless, she's, she has no filter. So that's kind of how I
and
go
as an
into
actor,
it.
Improvisation, is that a tool that you love?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But I do a little bit, I'm a warrior, and I kind of just do what I'm told. And again, I feel like I'm still a student. So I got a point to prove, and I want to make my professors and teachers, I want to make everybody proud. You know what I'm saying? So I rather give you a whole bunch, and then you can, you can take away
what you need as opposed to not have enough.
Exactly.
That is not trickery, that is a decision. Motor coordination between the eye of one dead man and the arm of another.
Your work ethic is so insane. It doesn't even make no sense. How see, I'm the youngin', so it's like, that was a new one, blah, blah. But then it's like, I can literally name 50 different movies.
I've been around a while, yeah.
But the crazy part about it is, you have, but then you don't look like it. Like, you make me excited for when I start really getting up there. I'm just not gonna age, because you're not aging. So you're giving me hope to know that I just will not age. But how do you, because you are a fucking legend. How do you prepare for roles? Because you can go from Scenes from a Marriage, you can go to Dune, you can go to Victor, you can go to Victor Frankenstein. It's do you ever get stuck in any of your characters? And this is such a genuine question. Did you ever have to go to therapy? Did you, tell me all about it.
I don't know if I've ever gotten stuck in something. I did have a hard time when I went into another project after Frankenstein. I did have a hard time with it, and it wasn't until I kind of brought back Victor to talk for a moment that I realized it was because of that. I was playing a character, after Frankenstein, I was playing a character that was quite tight and small. Yeah. And Victor was still in there angry that he had to be in this tiny little sad man,
Right.
And there was something about playing Victor that was very freeing and pleasurable. He's a character that loves pleasure.
Right.
I mean, I think a bit like Perfidia as well.
Yeah.
It's very connected to their pleasure core.
Right.
As dark as they can be and as fucked up as they can, behave sometimes. Or often in Victor's case, most of the time.
Right.
There is something about playing somebody so unhinged with no regard for the moral, judgments, that it's just this kind of vitalist energy was really exciting and pleasurable to play. So leaving that was really hard. But in general, I think I'm pretty good at letting it go, but I've become more mindful of that. I've started to add in a ritual. So I show up in the morning, I do a little ritual to say, just to get my nervous system ready,
Right.
you know, to begin the performance ritual, to thank the ancestors, to thank, you know, people that raised me that are no longer here, you know, to begin in a place of openness. And then at the end of the day is even more important. I do a little ritual to say, thank you, body, thanks for being there, thanks for being open, and now you can stop.
Release.
Yeah, you can release for the next, because I got kids and I got stuff to go do. So thank you. I don't need your help anymore. We'll check back in tomorrow. You know, which
Right.
I do think for young actors, it's an important thing to do. And it's not so like mysterious. It's just very much for your nervous system. The
Right.
kind of, you know, because you're asking a lot of yourself.
Right.
And like how to become more of a friend of your mind. But yeah, you know, it's like trying. Actually, I heard Sean Penn say this, which I was like, that's right. There's some characters that, you know, you go to them, and there's some that you bring them to you.
Right.
And the fun is playing with both of those things. And Victor was very much one where I went to Victor. You know?
I mean, you went to Victor. That was just insane. Do you feel like that was the most intense character you've ever played in your career?
Energetic wise, yeah. The energy required for this particular person, the person that just does not stop, can't be caught, you know, is just moving and running away,
Yes.
you know. And just the actual, just the physical demands of it, you know, the creation of the creature was 3 weeks in rain and those little black high-heeled boots running up and down steps that are all wet, and, you know, and that kind of outpouring of energy was a lot. But it also, I mean, when you're, you know, I'm sure with like PTA, it's like Guillermo del Toro, when he's sitting there with those big glasses and those eyes and that wide smile surrounded by all that, it just feeds you energy, you know, and you're like in it together. And it didn't feel like I was alone. It felt like he was just feeding me at every moment.
You feel safe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
and,
that's
and
important.
safe to like push and to like go out on a limb. I mean, it's a big character, you know, and it's heightened. It's a really big expression, you know. And in some ways, it was very much like an opera, or like a dance.
Yes, yes. It gave like, it just, oh my God, it was just chef kiss. What do you feel like was one of the most difficult scenes on a personal level, where it's like, okay, this is, I have to play this character, but it's really hard to get through this scene because me in real life would not handle it this way. What do you feel like was the most difficult scene for you to film throughout any of the movies that you've done?
Oh, with any movie?
With any
I've
movie.
done. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, obviously the really difficult ones is when it's not working, right? Right? That's when you're like, oh my God, kill me! I can't get this to work. It's funny because like the scenes that are obviously sometimes very emotional and powerful, those can be, there's flow to those, and those feel like it's like music, right? Where it's like, I don't know how that song happened. It's like grace. Something I wasn't even like, I got out of the way and something occurred. Like that's really exciting. When it's hard is when, you know, the self-consciousness comes in, or it's like, I can't get this thing to work. I think it's wrong. There's so many that have been very hard. In Frankenstein, interestingly enough, the very last scene between the creature and Victor.
Did you feel bad for that? Did you feel bad when you was beating him?
No.
Oh my God.
I wasn't supposed to feel bad.
Victor!
I was supposed to feel
Victor! You are selfish.
Well, because it's like doing it to yourself. Like when you yell at yourself, do you feel bad that you're yelling at yourself?
I don't think that's fair.
But I'm saying that's how I was thinking about it. When I'm like, you piece of shit, you know, like, why did you fucking do that? It's like that, you know.
Yeah,
it's
but you did to him what your father did to you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like everybody's a bully to the bully walk-in type situation.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
And it was really dope to see it from the point of view of the monster, because you know, for a long time everybody was saying that the monster was Frankenstein. A lot of people didn't know that you know, Frankenstein was actually
the
creator. You know, I always knew that, but a lot of people didn't.
A romance, drenched in Mediterranean sun and silk and the skirmishes of love.
Insulting, but unsurprising.
Once Mia came in, it's just like, do you feel like you could have handled it differently? I'm talking to you like you're actually Victor Frankenstein. Because that's how good the movie is. It's like, I have so many questions. It's just like, why? Like, why would you show him what the sun is and make him take it in to take it away and lock him in the basement in the darkness?
Right.
What clicked in your mind? Was it because Victor was tired? Like, what clicked that just made you like treat him like a monster?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because it as parents, right? Like, and I know I've had
You
friends.
didn't have patience.
I had friends that've seen it too, and they're like, man, it makes me really feel guilty of those moments that I've yelled at my kid, or those moments that I've not had patience, you know, and this is obviously a very extreme version of that.
Right.
But it is that thing where you're like, how does someone that is an adult, how can someone treat a child that way? And there's
Right.
so
Like,
many
even though
times
he's like
it happens.
7 feet tall,
Yeah, but you
he's still a
see that
baby. He's
it's
a few
just,
days old.
yeah, there's an innocence to them. Obviously, the way that he plays
Exactly.
it is so beautiful. It's
Yeah.
just like pure awareness. But what I'm saying is like this idea, and I have had to catch myself with it too, of like treating your children as just extensions of yourself,
Right.
as objects of pride or shame. You know, it's like, oh, don't behave that way because it makes me look bad, or "Oh, look at what my kid's doing because it makes me look good. You know, and then the loss of patience, and to be able to just, you know, scream at a child, you know, and to lose your shit, you know, with your kids. Now this is an extreme version of that, where he never thought past creation, right? It was just like, I have to do this one thing, and if I can do this
Yeah,
one
and
thing,
then once you
everything
got it,
will
it
make
was like you
sense.
put all that work in just to like,
Yeah.
all right, go
just
in
to
the basement.
be horrified by it, because all he
Yes.
can see is himself, right? It's just
So
all
it's like
he
a
is
mirror.
like, yeah, it's just like ego construct. All he sees is like, I'm going to be judged by this, and I don't understand that, and I just want to run away from it. And so the way you run away from it is you like lock it down there. I'll just like kind of pretend it's not really there, and you know, it's also kind of addict behavior, where you like compartmentalize this thing and you put it away so nobody can see it, and you go in there and you like poke around at it. And
You
see.
running away from your true self.
Exactly,
You know, and it's a reflection of you. Not the pureness, but like, just what you created. You created this thing that's just like, I have to run away from it now.
Well, I mean, Perfidia has to go through that
I
as
know,
well, right?
That's
She
why I'm
leaves
like,
the baby.
but that's what I'm saying. Like walking away from my baby, it was hard. It was a hard scene because I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
It was like, Perfidia don't cry.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
where the
saying? So it's like,
tension is right there,
exactly. So
right?
that was difficult. So I was just wondering if that scene was hard, because that's like the empath in me. Like it
No,
would have took like 30 takes for me to like get through that.
Yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
would have been mad at me. Y'all would have been like, yeah.
Yeah. The scene at the end was really difficult because of the forgiveness scene, because, you know, we shot it for a whole evening. It was the first scene we did together with Jacob. Yeah, that was the first scene we did.
Now I know that probably was hard.
That was really hard, and it was a similar thing where it was so much would come out, and drawing from my own life, and it was in a way overwrought because there was so much, right?
Right.
And we did it, and we got something that was really good at the end. And then the next day, Guillermo showed it already cut together, and we were just doing some inserts, and I saw it, and I was like, I don't know, man, I'm not sure I buy it.
No, but I
and
feel
then
what you're saying,
and then
though,
we went and we
shooting,
did it again.
Right, but shooting out of order. I think
Yeah.
if you would have went through all of that and then did that, because just the level of like grace,
Yeah.
you know, from the monster was, I don't even want to call him monster no more.
No,
because, I mean, it's
yeah,
a baby.
he is a baby. Yeah, the creature.
No,
Yeah.
but it's just like that was a beautiful moment, and it did show grace and
Yeah, and it's also
forgiveness.
he finally hears his story. You know, I know
Exactly.
it seems like a quick turn, but it's actually he listens
Yeah.
to this creature's story of everything that happened with the blind, and the whole story he tells. That's
Because everybody
for
gave him patience.
Yeah.
But Victor.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I was almost wondering too, like, what was Victor's standpoint when he first heard him speaking? I know you had to been like gagging, like,
Yeah.
like I'm so sorry I keep talking to you like you're literally Victor, because it's just so good. And I think it's fucking me up because I watched the movie before I even knew that we were doing this.
Oh wow.
And it's so crazy because it was in theaters, and then I had to wait all the way until November 7th for it to come out because I wanted to watch it at home too. So it's just like, I'm like, is it on yet? Is it on yet? Is it on yet? Is it on yet? So I was like, because I have to watch stuff twice,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So I
yeah,
seen
yeah.
it in the theaters, and it was just like amazing. Of course, to see it on a big screen, but to go home and really like see it again, you know,
can't
that's
wait
when
to
I
do
feel
that
like,
with
that's
one
when I get
battle, too.
judgmental, but in the
Yeah.
best way. That's when
Right.
I become a critic.
Yeah, you
I don't
really start to
judge off
take it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't judge off the first.
You
off
just
the
take
first
it in.
thing.
Well, that's
Yeah, you
good
just take
because
it in,
it's like
process
it's
it.
important. Okay? A lot of people
Yeah.
go straight to, do I like it or do I not like it?
And
You're
I
like,
think
who
that's
cares?
unfair because sometimes you gotta understand, you know, and because it's crazy because the second watch, even though Victor had his ways, I still had empathy, you know, like he was gone.
Yeah.
He was gone, you know. He was also a perfectionist, and I think he was also tired, It's like I'm shaving you every single day, blah, blah, you know, and you only know one word, and it's just like just getting in your own way and kind of self-sabotage and not realizing that you wasn't giving grace and you wasn't giving,
Exactly.
you wasn't patient, and again, to expose him to the sun, to bring him into darkness, to lock him into darkness was a lot. But again, what I realized also with, one battle after another is understanding that these things have to happen for one to rise. Like Perfidia had to make those mistakes for Willa to rise. Like we have to anchor the movie for the rest of it to prevail. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you did everything the right way, we wouldn't have known the blind man. We would not have known, the process of that.
Of course,
So I feel like sometimes people watch things, they don't understand
Yeah.
that we're just the characters. How was the chemistry building of it all? Like, did you and Jacob know each other already, or no?
No, we didn't know each other. We met once briefly in Guillermo's office. He was like on his way out. We just said hi. And the first time that I saw him as the creature was on set the day that we filmed the last scene. So there was no chemistry building. There was chemistry in action.
Right.
And it was Guillermo, the way that he created it, the way that he cast it, the way that he put everything together. It's what emerged, and it's an incredible performance, and he approached it in a way that was very vulnerable and raw and open, and really shows this kind of, we kind of played it like it's one person. Right? These are two aspects of one person.
Right.
On the one side is just pure awareness, and on the other side is pure construct of ego, right? And how those two things just like come together finally at the end.
Yeah.
But I was also just so impressed by how loose he was. We could joke around in between. Sometimes I'd look and he'd be taking photographs as the monster. He had his camera.
I've been seeing those. I've been seeing those floating around.
Yeah. So he was that he could have both of those things, such focus and also like an ease. Was really, really impressive. How about you? I mean, you have incredible scene partners. I mean, fucking Leo and Sean Penn. Like, can you talk about that? I mean, particularly the thing with Sean too. Like these two kind of.
They toxic.
My name is Perfidia Beverly Hills, and this is a declaration of war. We're here to right your wrongs, motherfucker.
Yeah,
They
but
are toxic.
but like also I feel for them too, but also, it's like having to, I don't judge her. I really don't judge her at all. Like, what else is she gonna do? She sees a bit of a freak in him, and so she sees a vulnerability. And so she starts playing into that vulnerability. Right off at the very beginning. You're like, oh, is that how you wanna play? And then you start moving in that direction.
I have a gun to your head.
Exactly.
You calling me sweet things. That's the
yeah.
first problem.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can tell with them two, speaking of pride, they both, I feel like it was a pissing contest.
Yeah.
I feel like they both had a lot of pride and was
two
very
warriors.
egocentric. Exactly, two fucking warriors. And it was about power for Perfidia. And I think at one point she just got greedy.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because the bathroom scene was our first time ever meeting each other. So he was already in gear, and I remember seeing him from the back, and I was like, oh, I'm not bothering him, because some people just want to be in character and then get on the scene. So I didn't know. So he had to shoot like some type of shot before I was in it. And I remember when they yelled cut, then he walked out, and he turned this way, and he was like, I love you. I was such a big fan. I was like, oh my God. I was like, thank you so much. Like, of course I'm a fan, but I'm also like, I'm not a pest. Like, I'm very like, I don't want to be in nobody's way. I don't want to be in nobody's business. I mind mine, drink my water. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do not play, and I give you your space. Understand, you're still like a living legend, and I'm very, very big on like the people who's come before me, who's paved the way for me. So I'm very salute, and like even if you are mean, it's like I get it.
Yeah.
He's an icon. He got da-da-da. But, fortunately for me, like I've seen the best of them, personally, professionally, like for him to be so warm and so kind. And like, I was like, okay, cool. So it made me feel comfortable, and I was able to get into that bag, So we didn't really get to meet each other.
Or
me
rehearse?
And Leo, no.
Okay.
And I like to film the rehearsals too.
Yeah.
I tell PC, I say, catch every fucking thing. Catch everything. Because I think I'm more relaxed. And it's something about, all right, quiet on set, boom, boom, boom. And then it's just like my nerves just go.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the camera not on me, I'm killing it.
A lot of it's because it's obligation, right? And so a lot of it's like, how do you free yourself from any obligation?
Exactly.
Like just because they say action doesn't mean you have to act.
Exactly.
Right?
It's just roll. So I'm like, film the rehearsals, but it's like a mind over matter. Because now my mind, it's just a rehearsal.
Yeah.
So now like my comfort levels, it's like I really want to say that a lot of Perfidia shots majority of them probably were like the shots that were like just loose with it. You know what I'm saying? Or knowing, or like affirm me. You know, I'm like, I'm just a girl, you know, I want reassurance. So it's just like, once you try something,
Yeah.
and it's like PTA love it, it's like, yeah, do that thing that you do. I'm like, okay, now I can sit in that moment because again, I'm gonna always respect the set that I'm on. So I try and go and do what I'm told and keep it at that. So when
Yeah.
I know I can play,
Yeah.
I wanna feel that you want me to play. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And not like me just coming and doing my own thing.
Yeah, but it's
So-
something that you have too, man.
Yeah.
It comes from music and choreography. It's just your timing.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I even think about when he opens that door and your hands are there and just the way that you wait.
Yeah.
You know, the way that you wait and then slowly
Yeah.
start to turn.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, all that is
And then
just
the little
beautifully timed.
screwdriver grab, like, do
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
stab this
yeah, am I gonna
motherfucker or
stab?
not?
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know what
all
I'm
that
saying? Yeah.
timing is
Yeah.
just, it's beautiful. And then the way that he lets that all play out. You know?
Yeah, but it's crazy that you say that because timing is everything. And on sets, I used to feel like the moment they yell action, I had to hurry up and
Right.
like it always felt like a rush. But it's like Paul really let you take your time, and he actually give you music while you acting too.
Oh, cool.
Like when he played Soldier Boy and I threw Sean up against the wall, it's like I love that you get the whole thing versus it's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna add the music in later. Like
Yeah.
he sets the scene, and it's like maybe because I'm such a like visual artist, it's just like everything being in place. I
And
just
how about the
let
dynamic
loose.
with Leo?
Oh man, the dynamic was dope. So me and Leo was already buddies like for a long time, but we never worked together before. So again, stepping onto set, I don't bring personal into set. This is not like, oh, that's my homie, so I'm about to,
Yeah.
you know. So being on set, this is still a legend. This is still Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, and I'm just still little old me. So, you know, I'm on set like nervous, but we have a conversation, you know, and again, he's another one, like just his gentle leadership and how he mentors and, you know, how it doesn't feel like one is above the other. You know, he meets me where I'm at. And I feel like my job is to be present, you know, be present for my scene partners and be present for my director and my DPs and, you know, the village, you know, and I think I work good under pressure. So being there with Leo, it's like nervous or not, a bitch got to do what she got to do. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to hold my own. I don't want nobody holding my hand through this shit. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to talk through it. So we talk like, you know, yeah, I pissed you off today. So he's talking to me as if he's Bob and I'm Perfidia. So then when PTA yelled action, we're already in it. So we don't really like talk about, so this scene should go like this.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
start having the conversation. We start making the scene go. That's why I love to film the
Yeah,
rehearsals.
he's so great in that
Yeah.
movie, man.
Thank
then the
you.
thing what you guys do together and that is he's so lost and you're so driven and he's just trying to catch up and
Yeah.
just can't catch you, you know? And you just gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Exactly.
Working with that big belly. But what's funny is like the challenge is like, but also she's somebody that's not too worried about having that big belly,
At
right?
all. You see, she got the whole
Exactly,
machine gun
exactly.
sitting on top of it.
So could you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, that was one of my favorite parts because one, it was cold as hell. I mean, it was so cold. So the belly actually kept me warm because it was like super heavy and it was like all like, yeah, whatever it had going on, it was warm. Like literally my stomach was sweating. Like that's how warm it was.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was also lucky to have it because the guns were very, very heavy.
Right.
So I was resting that shit right on top of that belly. It's like definitely one of my favorite scenes. I'm like,
It's
yeah.
iconic. I mean, that shot
Exactly.
is
I'm like,
incredible.
you know, bitch, I feel like Tony Montana.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, it was just, it was dope. And when I knew what the shot was going to be and where we were and like how he was shooting it, I was like I knew for a fact that that picture was going to be iconic. I was like, yeah, this is one of them ones for sure. But it was dope. I mean, it didn't really change much. I think because Perfidia is so reckless and unfiltered, I tried not to move with wobbles and like, oh, I'm so
Yeah.
pregnant. It's like, you know, her strength and her physicality is just like, yeah, I'm still moving, I'm still shooting, I'm still, I'm
Right.
still
Yeah.
all of the things, you know? So I try not to get in the space of like, oh, she's super pregnant, this belly is super heavy. I tried to stay strong,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it worked perfectly because, you know, and then that's what Bob says. He's like, I don't think she knows she's pregnant. But what does she say? It's very, yeah.
No, that's a fact.
Yeah, that's great.
That's what it needed to be. And even that was a fun night when we shot that fire pit scene. I think that was actually our last day.
Of shooting.
Yeah, so I had a little shot.
Yeah.
I had a little shot of
yeah,
tequila.
Wow. How long of a shoot was it, the whole thing?
We shot for like nine months. When we took a break, because I know when we took a break, then Benicio had to shoot his shot.
Yeah.
It was a long film, but we definitely had like a break in between, and then we came back.
And you said that you're interested in directing as well, right? So was
Yes.
that must have been an incredible masterclass.
I mean,
just like being next to
absolutely
him to see
super,
PTA just.
super masterclass. Because not only am I, you know, directing, but I'm also in culinary school to become a chef. So then I started using everything in like, you know, culinary terms. I'm like, oh, master chef. I'll call him Chef PTA, because it's just like let him cook. I'm like, you just gotta let him cook. He's a master chef. But yeah, I'm gearing up to direct my first feature film called Get Light. So I'm very excited with Paramount. So yeah, and even with that, that's been like a process. I've been working on that project for 3 years, and it didn't really start shaping until now. And I'm like, again, another thing of timing, of like, you know, I needed to experience this with PTA. I needed to experience what I experienced with AV, you know, with 1001. Those 2 movies really shaped me into the, you know, actress and, you know, director that I will.
And
that will
culinary
be.
school as well? Like, how do you have time to do all that? What?
It's actually the thing that like gives me a few to just be quiet and cook. It's
Is
the
that
art.
that's where you
yeah,
that's where
it's
you
the
go?
culinary art. Yeah, so it's like I cook. I mean, I have a lot of writing work to do, business courses and stuff like that. But the cooking part, that's the part I signed up for. But when I signed up and realized I had business classes and all other types of shit, I was like, oh shit, baby. So now I'm like on my way to the One Battle After Another premiere, like on my iPad, doing schoolwork. Like, okay, my discussion forum is in, my quiz is in, it's here, and PTA and them just all laughing at me. But I think it's dope. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me like, I don't know, like leveled, because this is the part that's like, you know, this is the lights, the cameras, it's a lot going on, and to look forward to knowing that I have a week to turn this in. I just be so proud of myself that I got it done. I be crying and everything. Like, it's hard, you know, some stuff you gotta let sit for 3 hours before you can cook it. And, you know, it's like literally doing that, doing quizzes and just, but it's, I don't know, it also made me appreciate my directors even more. I've always been, you know, always been a student, great student, straight A student with everything that I do. But going to culinary really showed me the art of like gentle leadership, you know, and experiencing that while working with PTA and looking at his gentle leadership and, you know, just all of the things. Like, I don't know, it's like culinary school and working with PTA really geared me up. Like, I really feel like I'm gonna be a great director because I've learned so much. It may sound weird, like, how did you, all this from learning how to make a steak?
I think you're the coolest person I've ever met in my life.
Oh, thank you.
You are so astounding.
I mean,
That you, where did
listen,
all the
just-
energy to get to do this too? Like,
I think it's all about balance, you know?
Yeah.
It's all about balance. And again, I think making that promise to myself, like, I'm never gonna get claustrophobic and stuck in the box. It's almost maybe even trauma. Like, I told y'all I would be able to do it all, and now I have to live up to that. And I'm not complaining. It's everything I ever asked for, everything I ever dreamed of. So why complain? You about to be complaining about a whole bunch of answered prayers? Who doing that? You know what I'm saying? So it's
Staying
just like,
grateful.
that's where I am. So it's like I'm able to go to culinary school, able to do movies, able to creative direct. Like, I was creative directing a whole arena tour for an artist, you know? Like, so it's like, okay, doing this, then I'm gonna go to this screening, and then after my Q&A, I'm gonna make it back, because they on stage till about 11, you know? So I'm like, literally, all of these things is happening at one time.
this is what I was saying about the source. You know,
Yeah.
like there's a source with you that all these things are elements of that thing, but it's like keeping that thing, being true to that is
Yeah.
what's really inspiring.
I think that's why I loved Victor. Like, I mean, I didn't agree with a lot of his ways, but like, just his passion to get it the fuck done. Like, I don't even need nobody in this room. Like, actually, I work better alone. Get out of my way. You get what I'm saying? Like, let me just, how you are in there is like me in culinary school. You know, like, I want everything to be perfect. No,
Sawing the
this should be centered.
bones.
Yes, this should be centered. Yeah, fabricating protein, like literally. And maybe that's why I was just like glued to the TV watching Victor, because I'm like, that's me in the kitchen. I'm telling you, I be crying, laid out, all types of stuff. Like, oh my God, why is it not at this certain degree? How much longer? You know what I'm saying? In my whole like chef uniform. But you know, it makes me so proud of myself to be judged in the purest form. You know, going to culinary schools, you don't know who you are. You know, where I feel like in our world, somebody can just have a judge. They could just not like you because the way you look, and it's just like, oh yeah, I don't want to see a movie with him in there. I don't want to see a movie with her in there. I mean, it's just I don't like how she look.
Yeah.
You know, where in school it's like you're genuinely being graded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's also how I feel about critics too. Like, they're just genuinely judging the art. And that's what I appreciate. Good, bad, or indifferent. And I think that I don't let that get lost on me. I don't say, oh, they're just haters. No, I really appreciate critics. And I think that they should get flowers more, because they're really coming from an aspect of judging the art and not the
Some
person.
of them.
Some of
Right,
them.
I wouldn't say
Well,
all
the
of
good
them
ones.
would judge
The
the-
good
yeah,
ones.
right, right.
The good ones, you know.
There's a lot of them out here now.
I mean, but for me in the industry that I'm in with this singing and stuff, people just hate on you just because.
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's actually like people, the internet is actually way more, they make critics look like, they make critics look like angels. They make critics look like Jacob, and then the haters look like Victor. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it is still like a pureness, and it's like you judge the art, and I mean, the most I can do is respect how you feel about that. It's not gonna change how I feel like the job that I've done. But you know, this is different for me, because I am coming from a whole different world
Yeah.
into this. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this has been so amazing. I could like talk to you for hours.
You're
Like, I still
incredible.
have so many questions.
Thank you for doing this
Thank
with me.
you.
You're
Thank you
incredible.
so much. Appreciate you.
We'll keep it going.
Thank you. Yes.